Hey there, guys. Welcome back to It's Not That Bad Movie Reviews. I have been gone for a little while because I have been destroying Red Faction. I am now the world record holder for a game that 7 people in the world have played, or at least currently play. But we are now back. I'm going to finish the Jigsaw review pretty soon, so that should be up before you guys hear this. But here we are today covering See No Evil.
Yes, sir. See No Evil, starring personally my favorite WWE wrestler, Kane. So here we go. I'll hop right into it. So we had a release date of May 19th, 2006. So I remember when this first came out, this was like a big deal to me at the time since it was Kane. But why we are reviewing this, 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, 17% on Metacritic, and, well, a 5.1 out of 10 on IMDb. So not the best. Not the best.
Not the best rated, however, pretty good movie.
Yes.
At least I would say. But just jump right into it. So May 19th, 2006, See No Evil, starring Knox County, Tennessee Mayor Glenn Jacobs, a.k.a. Kane from WWE, was a theatrical release for the third of WWE Studios films. So this was the third one that they ever came out with. It was one of the only type of movies that they had that was a theatrical release, because almost all their movies from 2009 onwards have just been straight to DVD or to some streaming service. But they went ahead and raked in $18.6 million on an $8 million budget. And for WWE studio films, that's actually really good. Like, I think it's just the Marine, 12 rounds, and this that have made money. Almost everything else have lost.
Jesus.
But I hear you asking from your computer screen, couldn't this movie have done very well? Because if you think about it, then WWE has their own, 3-4 hours a week of TV programming to where they can go ahead and, promote this movie as much as possible to get people to see it. But there's one big problem. They don't promote the movie in a normal way. They promote it in a storyline way. So to break down the storyline, what was happening back in 2006, Kane and the Big Show were currently tagging together. They were World Tag Team Champions. But Kane suddenly started hearing voices in his head. And so with these voices, he started losing concentration during matches and losing tag titles, which eventually led to Kane having the arena play his thoughts over the loudspeaker, which is just fucking ridiculous. But they were saying May 19th, it's all happening again. People are going to know, all that stuff. And then eventually a fake Kane started attacking Kane. This fake Kane was played by Luke Gallows, a.k.a. Festus of Jesse and Festus. Biscuits and Gravy made me a man.
Wow.
So Festus was this fake Kane. They had a pay-per-view match. Fake Kane won. And the next night on Raw, real Kane kicked him out of the building and stole the mask back, and then was off TV for 2 months to go basically promote the movie in Europe. So that is how WWE promotes its movies. It could have been a lot better by just saying, hey, Kane's in this movie, go fucking watch it. But that's not how WWE does it. And also, before you time out, just to throw it in there, here's a clip of Triple H dressed up like Kane fucking a corpse in a casket.
Car, if you'd just let me touch your beautiful breasts, then I wouldn't have swerved and gone off the road, and you would still be alive. Yes, you would. Yes, you would. Don't. No. You would too. You would still be alive, and it's your fault. That's right. That's right. It is your fault, and you know it. Because I loved you, Katie. And you didn't love me when you were alive, because I was some burnt up freak. What's that? Really? Now that you're dead, you want me?
Honestly, sounds about right. I mean, that isn't the worst thing I've seen in WWE. I know we were talking about matches earlier and promotions and whatnot. The whole Festus thing, I didn't know. That's ridiculous. I had no idea about that, but the whole build-up to the movie, May 19th is coming, I thought, it was kind of cool.
It would have been kind of cool if it actually built to maybe this becoming a storyline version of Kane, being in this movie.
Not just him disappearing and coming
Yeah.
back, and it's over and done with.
Oh, and also the whole thing about May 19th of why it was an important date to storyline Kane was because May 19th was the day that his house burned down and his adoptive mother and adoptive family died, who was killed by The Undertaker.
Okay.
And his dad's Paul Bearer.
I remember Paul Bearer.
Yeah. WWE lore is very shaky and weird.
But nowadays, there's nothing like it.
No. Nothing quite as weird and crazy as two giant men, both who are adopted brothers of each other, sons of a mortician who killed each other's families. And then the whole thing about the Triple H fucking a dead corpse. So Kane apparently in, WWE canon was a high school quarterback and was dating this girl named Katie Vick. And Katie died in a car accident that Kane caused. And so Triple H, in order to get inside Kane's head, did a promo where he was talking to a casket in Kane's mask and then started to get turned on and then fucked the corpse.
Now, I've not seen this personally, but wow, okay.
Yeah. Actually,
I was going to say, I'll be excited to see your inserted clip here.
That was as good for you as it was for me. What's that? I did? You're kidding me. I really did? I did? Oh my God. I did. I really did it. I really did. I screwed your brains out.
Oh my God.
yep.
Vintage WWE, huh?
Vintage 2003 WWE. Some fucking weird ass shit. But back on track. So starting off with the movie, we have two cops responding to a call at a house where they approach and they hear some, kind of kids singing type of thing, like weird music. They go ahead and approach the house, but they hear a scream from inside. So they rush in to go ahead and make the save. But as they go ahead and go through the house, they see all these blood lining the walls, these religious imageries everywhere, and eventually we see
a woman who is, in my notes, brutally blinded. You can literally see into her freaking eye sockets, to where they are attacked by a huge psychopath with an axe, and unfortunately, the rookie ends up being brutally slaughtered, while Frank, who I guess I'll call him the main cop or main character, shoots Kane in the head.
after getting his arm.
I was going to say, but after getting his arm severed.
Yep. So he shoots Kane in the head, and then he starts calling for police. I don't know if you noticed this. It turns from midday to overnight. No wonder they couldn't reattach that fucking arm. They took their time getting there.
I noticed that.
Yeah, I'm like, why did this take so goddamn long? But anyway, after he goes ahead and gets his arm cut off, we cut to 4 years later, where Frank wakes up and takes a leak. He is now shown to have prosthetic arm, and he has switched from becoming a normal police officer to now a correctional officer.
Yeah. To where I don't know how that would happen. I guess unless he totally switched jobs, or they made it sound like he got assigned to a new position, and I'm like, oh, he's probably at the time I'm thinking, oh, he's probably like a desk cop or something, but now he's a CO.
Yeah, I don't know how exactly that works. I imagine it works that essentially he couldn't do the regular cop position. So they're like, hey, we don't want to fire you, but you either have to take this demotion or you're going to be, honorably discharged.
Mm-hmm, sure. Yeah, so 4 years later, we have Frank and his partner Hannah. They take a group of delinquents. And then I'll just introduce all the names. So there's Christine, Kira, Michael, Tyson, Zoe, Melissa, and of course, Russell, and my favorite, Richie Rich.
Yep, good old Richie Rich. And then Tyson, his name is shortened to Ty. That's all. They refer to him later on. Mm-hmm. But one thing kind of take note there, how old are these people supposed to be?
I figured in their 20s, 18, 20, 21.
Because I'm pretty sure they're all supposed to be either just 17, 18,
Like,
or like early 20s.
so it lists them as delinquents, so that's definitely probably in their teens, yeah.
But the problem is that they all look like 30, apart from like Richie Rich and Ty.
Yeah,
So
it's Michael who looks like a grown ass man.
yeah, Michael looks like a grown ass man. Russell looks like a grown ass man. Melissa looks kind of older, but I don't know. It's it's
Weird
just,
part of the story. I get it.
yeah,
Yeah.
they never say specifically this is a juvenile correction center or anything like that. But one of the girls, as they're sitting in the bus, recognizes a guy outside the bus, which is Kira, recognizing Michael, because Kira was dealing drugs for Michael, and the reason why they're both in there is because Kira rolled over on Michael. She snitched on him.
That's what it was. Okay. Because I know there was a part that mentioned she was on the streets for him, which at first I'm thinking, oh, so this guy's like a pimp or some shit. But I connected the dots later. I got it.
Okay, good. But also, so earlier, Michael hands Russell like a package. I'm like, oh, so this guy was a coke dealer. It's just fucking weed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is this? But as they're going ahead and getting on to their way to the prison, Zoe goes ahead and steals Hannah's phone while she's not looking. And also Richie Rich goes ahead and goes to Ty with a proposition, but they're cut off before they reach the hotel.
So our next scene here, we have the abandoned Blackwell Hotel. In order to, what they want to do is turn it into a homeless shelter, but when they go in, it's supposed to be, what, a 3-day mission or 3-day cleanup of the hotel?
Yeah, essentially the trade-off here is that all these kids or adults go ahead and spend 3 days nonstop working to clean out this place in order for them to transition it from a hotel to a homeless shelter. And Margaret, the representative from the historical society, is telling Frank how she's glad this worked out. She wanted to do this for a while, like all that stuff.
Yeah. So my favorite part here, so Richie, Rich, and Tyson, or Ty, hatch up a plan. So this was the proposition from earlier. So apparently the owner of the Blackwell Hotel had a hidden stash of, I think it was money, just money?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a hidden stash of money.
It was just money, okay. So money in a safe, which, like I said, was the proposition to where those two would team up and try and find the treasure, essentially.
Yeah, essentially what was happening is that Richie knew where the safe was because he had the blueprints for the hotel, which seems fucking crazy of how he got those in jail.
Yeah.
But essentially, Ty is a lockpicker. So he's like, hey, could you get into the safe? And they were like, yeah, sure. Oh, yes. Just to back up a little bit. So Margaret, when she's laying out the details about the hotel, mentions that the hotel has secret passageways but have yet to be found, and that the penthouse rooms are off limits as there was a fire there causing structural damage. Yep. And then as they're going ahead and starting cleaning, when Ty and Richie kind of make the deal to basically go ahead and try to find the safe to rob it and, get out a few thousand, they go ahead and also cut over to Christine washing some paintbrushes and some weird things. And Frank comes in saying how Christine got a bad rap, that her lawyer was a bad deal, because it's implied that basically her stepdad was beating her and she did something to the stepdad, whether that was killing him or hurting him really bad. I don't know. But basically, Frank is saying that he's glad that he got to take her because this shortens her sentence and kind of helps out a little bit there.
So then we cut to a scene at night where Michael, Zoe, Russell, and Melissa, they eventually, I know it's off limits, but go upstairs to the penthouse.
Yes, but before that, you forgot about being introduced to the wall dogs.
The wall dogs.
Yes. So Melissa and the others are all eating, and Melissa has a sandwich or something like that, and a dog comes out of a hole in the wall and goes up to Melissa. Melissa's trying to feed it. Michael hits it with a can, and that introduces us to the first wall dog.
Which I guess you're right. It's a good little intro to what happens later, but we'll get there. So after they go to the penthouse, Tyson and Richie finally make their move to look for the previous owner's safe for the treasure. Sorry, cash treasure.
Yeah, I say
Treasure.
their plunder, their booty,
We'll
searching for the X on the map.
We'll go with the owner's booty.
They just find dead body, face down, ass up.
And so once they're making their way upstairs, they find what appears to be the body of a recently deceased man.
Yes, at first Ty is like, hey, this has got to be years old and everything. But Richie is like, there's no fucking way that's years old. Like, this guy just died. And as Ty tips his head back, they see that it also has no eyes.
Yes. So right here, Richie panics and runs off. And I know Ty's like, hey, where are you going? And, of course, Richie goes to the elevator to where we finally get our first glimpse of Jacob Goodnight.
Yep, Jacob Goodnight, or as I like to call him, the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee.
Yes. He ends up snagging Richie Rich with the hook. I don't know how to say it. He throws a hook at him.
He does the Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Get over here.
Get over here!
Oh, my God. I'm already imagining you inserting a clip there now.
Oh, it's getting in there.
So he ends up hooking him on his leg and, of course, drags him into the elevator to where Ty's watching this whole thing. And he's like, yo, better you than me.
Yeah, Ty is just like kind of frozen with fear. And then as this is all happening down below, Margaret informs both Frank and Hannah that the kids are out of their beds and the elevator went off, so they know that they're in there. Hannah at the time is discussing with Frank how she has not decided yet whether to accept some guy's marriage proposal. And then she's like, you know what, I'll go say, shut the fuck up to the kids, get this all figured out. So she goes to the elevator and says, you know what, I accept. Puts the ring on, which is a clue right there. She's about to die.
Which is a damn shame.
Yep. And then as soon as the doors open, nobody really there. She kind of looks around, then looks down a little bit, and then good old Kane walks up and just hoops her to the top of the roof. I believe there's like a spike hanging, and that's what killed her. Mm-hmm. At least that's what it looks like later on.
I just thought she was hit by, there's like a, not steel, some sort of metal on the roof of the...
There was like a metal, but there was like little hanging bits on it. And it looked like when later they got back into the elevator, like her hair and like part of her skull was up there.
So there was a spike, okay.
Yeah, but after that, he goes ahead and the doors kind of close on her a few times, which is kind of funny. Mm-hmm. And then he goes ahead and starts plucking out her eyeballs.
Yeah. So this is where we cut to Christine and Kira talking to where, I don't know if it's so much Christine feels bad for Kira or if just they're actually friends, but Christine tries to help Kira escape the hotel.
I don't know if you kind of got it. I thought Christine was kind of hidden on Kira.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Really?
No.
I kind of thought that was the way it was going this whole story.
Really?
Yeah.
That must have flew right over my head.
I don't know. Maybe it was something where I was just like, it just seems like it. But who knows?
Yeah. So when they hatch up this plan for Kira to escape, they talk about they do talk about the wall dogs. They say there was a hole in the wall where they can escape.
Yeah, because essentially the wall that they saw was in the atrium, and the only way to get to the atrium is out of a window. Mm-hmm. And Christine says, hey, there's a window inside the kitchen to where you can get out through there and then see where that hole goes. Mm-hmm. Kira wants to take her chances because she doesn't want to be around Michael because Michael was previously abusive to her.
Yep.
In fact, there was a previous scene where Kira was showering in the shower and sees out of a corner of her eye a glory hole with an eye poking through.
Yep.
And it was, of course, the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. But she thought it was Michael at the time. Michael comes in and says that she is used to him coming through the back door.
Yep.
Which is a nice catch
little
there.
innuendo, yep.
Yep. And so Michael goes ahead and goes to choke her, but Christine intervenes, saving her.
Yes.
Yeah. But now she goes ahead and goes to the kitchen to try to pry open this door to get out. Makes a shit ton of noise and alerts everybody. But then a dumbwaiter lowers down and out pops Kane to get over here with a shoulder with a shoulder hook.
Get over here!
And drags her into the dumbwaiter to go up.
Mm-hmm. There was a part in here. No, you nailed it. I was gonna say she's actually a funny part I saw was just she slips on the knife she was holding or something. Yeah. Anyways, that I actually kind of chuckled at.
Yeah.
For some fucked up reason.
Yeah, some weird reason.
So, sorry, I have to contain myself there. Christine and Frank go upstairs to find the others and end up running into Ty, who tells them what happened to Richie. So, and this is where Ty starts describing the killer, right? And that's when Frank realizes, oh, shit.
I thought I killed that guy.
Yeah, that's the same guy I shot in the head. And
but also during the same time, we see Michael doing some hood rat shit with his friends, where he gets a broken pipe and starts beating the shit out of all the penthouse walls.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Kind of just...
Michael's just an ass.
Yeah. we'll get into that later.
Yeah. So once Frank realizes that, oh shit, this is the same guy who I shot, a hook comes out. It's almost like this is the part I want to talk about too. Was the hook comes down, really right in front of his face, and just basically snags him through the
Through
bottom
the
of
bottom of his jaw.
yeah, which I don't. I've learned doing these reviews. I don't want to question too many things about movies, but if you're walking through, you're standing there, and a hook comes down in front of you, unless it was lightning fast.
It came down pretty fast.
Yeah. I mean, and that also, what? You got to get a nice little swing in there to catch him? I don't know.
Yeah, it was an accurate swing, and it was a good one. I
Yeah.
liked it. But, of course, he gets dragged up, starts firing some shots. You hear that, but then gets dropped back down. Sans hook, of course, because that's out now. And he has no eyes and almost appears to still be alive at that
He's
point.
like kind of twitching.
Yeah, kind of twitching a little bit. But, he's dead to everybody at this point because
Yes.
he's no use to helping in this scenario. So Christine retrieves his gun, and they go on chase to find Kira.
So we see Kira is held hostage by Jacob because of her religious tattoos, and this kind of gets into the whole flashback scene to where I don't know if it was so much the mom or if it was Jacob when he saw anything religious. Even with the original girl that was tied up, I think, or who had her eyes plucked, she had some sort of religious tattoo.
Yeah, because
And he
the
keeps
thing
her
was
alive.
is that he was keeping her alive even without her eyes to go ahead and keep her because she had these religious tattoos. And Kira has, of course, a large cross tattooed on her back.
Yeah. So, and that's part of the thing too. Where I was going to ask you was he keeping alive to toy with them, or is it something like his mom was teaching him, like, hey, these people have religious tattoos. We can't murder them.
No, so it was him misunderstanding his mom. Because essentially his mom was saying how it's a sin to have tattoos, but because of the way that he was raised, he's, seeing that all religious imagery is supposed to be good. So by seeing a tattoo, but
He thinks
also
that-
seeing that it's religious imagery,
He thinks they're good.
yeah, he gets confused where he knows it's a sin to have a tattoo, but he also knows that's religious imagery, which means that this person must be good. So he both tries to protect and hurt them, hence why he rips out their eyes, but also keeps them alive.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of getting your eyes torn out, now that we see Kira in this cage, she unfortunately witnesses my favorite character, Richie Rich, gain his eyes torn out as he's tied up.
Yeah, I was almost thinking Richie Rich was going to make a comeback.
I
but
thought. I really did.
I was thinking like maybe just one eye comes out and then he makes a comeback, but nope, that's it.
Nope.
Richie Rich is gone.
So now we go to your hood rat friends, Melissa Russell and Melissa Russell, Michael and Zoe.
Yep.
So where Melissa and Russell eventually go off into their own room after smoking a little weed.
Yeah, so in the penthouse, they go ahead and pull out some weed, which throughout this whole time, up until this point, I thought was coke. And then he pulls out this weed. I'm like, oh, it's just a stoner pussy. So he just fucking all lights up a joint, and then just a little whisper into Melissa's ear, and she's like, all right, let's go get some.
It's that easy.
Get some dickin' right now.
It's that easy.
So they go out to Bow Chicka Wow Wow. That's what I put here. And Russell and Melissa go to the maid's quarters, where Kira now awakens in the killer's lair, surrounded by the corpses. This is where Richie is killed. And then after that, let me see. Oh, yes. So he takes Kira and puts her under the shower, and we get another flashback showing that his mom used to, in the shower, hold his eyes open, saying, you need to wash out the sins from your eyes. Because essentially what she was doing is subjecting him to what she would call sinful images and then torturing him for liking them. Because he would basically...
Like the pornography is what
yeah,
we were...
he would basically just show him porn all day and then be like, you're a fucking pig, you're, sinning by looking at these and enjoying it and jerking off in your cage. And it's just like, this is the mayor of Knox County.
Damn. So I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but Melissa and Russell, as they're kind of doing their thing, now he realizes, it was Melissa that realizes, hey, there's something wrong with that mirror, or there's something up with that mirror.
But as Melissa and Russell are going to commit the biggest sin, premarital relations,
Biggest sin.
Kane's premarital relation detector goes off inside of his lair, and he goes to the two-way mirror where Melissa points out there's something funny about that mirror. And then Russell gets close and says, oh shit, it's a two-way mirror. And Kane nicely flips the lights behind it so that they could see him before jumping out, and then jumps out to go chase them.
Which I would shit bricks.
Dude, if I'd fucking saw a shadow of Kane behind a mirror, I'd be like, hands behind my head, I'm just do it quick.
You try to RKO him.
Oh,
So Kane is chasing Russell and Melissa through the corridor to where they end up going into a room. And I don't know if they lock themselves in. That's the part. I don't know if it's important, but they lock themselves in this room and find it's like a fire hose, right?
it is a fire hose, but the interesting part, they don't lock themselves in.
Okay,
There's
that's
no lock on door. Kane just wiggles the door a bit, and then they're like, oh, he's gone.
okay. That's the part that got me. So Melissa and Russell end up going into a room to where now they have a little bit of time to try and let Melissa escape. So this is where they find the fire hose and tie that around Melissa's waist so she can be lowered down and eventually maybe go get help. But as she's being lowered down, she realizes, oh crap, what's going on up there? Now she's being slowly brought back up.
The thing about that, though, so eventually we find out that Russell was killed by Kane, and he now has the fire hose. Mm-hmm. She didn't have any drop or anything like that. It just went still, and they started bringing him up. So I guess
It's like
Kane came behind, snapped his neck, and grabbed it all in the same motion.
Or just grab the hose and just absolutely smash his head in. I don't know.
Yeah, that could make sense.
Yeah, so now Jacob is pulling, he's going by so many different names this time. Kane or Jacob is pulling Melissa up and eventually ends up dropping her from the top of, I don't know how many stories up there, but from,
I think they were at 8 or 9, something like that.
yeah, so ends up dropping her off the top through a glass roof. And I'll let you go ahead and describe probably the craziest scene.
The best kill of this movie. So essentially, Melissa is asking Glenn Jacobs to go ahead and drop her, saying, hey, let go, like all that. He gets a creepy-ass smile on his face and then says, all right, and then drops her. She falls 9 stories through a glass window, bangs her arm on the ground, compound fractures it to where there's bones sticking out and everything. And then here comes the wall dog coming out to go ahead and greet her. And he starts licking up the blood, instantly getting a taste for blood, I guess. And all of these dogs, like 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, rush out and eat her alive.
Which was absolutely insane. I was thinking, oh, the dogs are here to help her, or just greet, like you said, greet her.
I was thinking, oh, this dog's going to, jump up and become her new best friend. This dog's going to be a main character. Nope, murders her.
Yeah, that part got me. I was like, wow. Cut this out, too. I feel like I missed a big part because I go straight into Jacob, then attacks Michael and Zoe.
Yep, yeah, that's right.
Ah, fuck. So now we have a scene where Jacob attacks Michael and Zoe. Zoe nearly escapes from Jacob, but her cell phone rings while she's in, I think it's a cupboard.
It's sort of like she's...
I want to call it a cupboard.
She's, hidden under some garbage, which is weird.
Yeah,
But
Kane ends up... They almost got away with it. So Michael and Zoe, when they were hiding in that room, Kane ends up going in and saying, oh, okay, well, they must not be in here.
Yeah, completely misses Michael as he's staring at him.
Yes. As Kane's walking down the corridor, cell phone rings. Ends up going back in, and now she's basically chopped liver at that point.
Second coolest kill of this movie, where he takes this Nokia phone as it's ringing and shoves it down her throat. You see this neck bulge. You get the creepy, cartilage snapping sound effects. And she just, has blood leaking out of her mouth. Great kill.
Yeah. Brutal, very brutal. But now Michael finds Christine and Ty as they're trying to rescue Kira. And, of course, as Michael turns the corner, Christine starts firing shots thinking it's the killer.
Yeah, just starts blasting away.
Yeah.
Shoots maybe 4 or 5 shots. Little do we know, that's all the bullets left in this piece.
Yes.
So this is it. But essentially, Michael, who dodged all these bullets because he is fucking Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, apparently, it says, all right, we got to get Kira and get the fuck out of here. And suddenly is kind of a good guy at this point.
I think he just cares for his own life.
So that's the thing is like you think throughout this whole movie that that's all he cares about is just himself. He protected Zoe. He went back for Kira. He got knocked out by Kane coming up here and went back again. Like he's, turning into a good guy throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
But you just never get the full motivation out of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So after Christine shoots at Michael's direction and they regroup. So after the three regroup, after Michael almost gets his freaking head blown off, Jacob then attacks the trio who end up escaping after Michael, I guess, takes the blunt of the attack where he gets thrown at a freaking, glass mirror and gets knocked out. And the other two end up escaping to an elevator shaft to where Kane breaks, by hitting the button, I don't understand that, hits the button with his axe, breaks the elevator, and they escape through the roof and up a ladder.
Yeah, I just imagine it's like a super old elevator, and for some reason, the button on the inside and outside are connected. Like, if one doesn't work, they both don't work.
I've seen that in multiple movies, I swear, to where, they're, characters trying to escape, and then the killer just, punches or hits the button, breaks it. Next thing you know, the elevator starts working. I'm just like, get the fuck out of here.
But with that, they narrowly avoid getting hit by this, and afterwards, Christine and Tide climb up the final story into penthouse level, the number 9 story. And once they go ahead and do so, they find Kira, who is currently being tied in it's too big to be a dog kennel. It's like a cage that's been homemade. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty cool looking thing. But essentially, they attempt to free her, but cannot in time because they hear Kane come back. So they decide, all right, let's leave Kira for now, and we'll come back for her.
Yeah. So unfortunately, my second most heartbreaking scene here. So Ty creates a distraction by breaking the jar of eyes, Kane's little collection.
Just one jar. Just one.
I thought it was a couple. He broke a couple, but
yeah.
Regardless, ends up hiding behind the bank vault. And now he's thinking, okay, Kane's going to come in here. This was the perfect distraction. And I don't know if Kane smelled him. I don't know if you caught that where Kane is sniffing the air.
I put Detective Kane smells out his criminal.
Okay, I'm glad you caught that.
He just goes, looks
at him. and smells them. He probably smelled the fear. Or smelled the dookie he took, because that'd be me. I'd be like, shit, man.
Smell shit in pants over in aisle 9.
But now we see a scene where, unfortunately, man, like I said, heartbreaking scene. Ty tries to taser Kane, but of course, Kane, in all of his might, grabs the taser and tases him in the neck and ends up crushing him with the bank vault. And I know we talked about how that was kind of a bullshit death, but
it's so lame because he shouldn't have died there. The taser to neck, sure, if he had heart problems or something, that could maybe kill him. Mm-hmm. But just pressing him against the wall a little bit, we didn't hear any bone snapping or anything like that. It just looked like he passed out.
Yeah.
So I personally think Ty should have continued his story from there. Maybe been one of those guys where at the end he's being helped out, hobbling out.
Unless Kane were to pick up the freaking vault and drop it on his head or something, something crazy.
Oh yeah, that would have been a way better kill.
Yeah.
But just before all this happens as well, as Kane is watching over Kira, he starts to masturbate. Mm-hmm. And we see a throwback to where he's also masturbating in his cage, and his mom is saying, "You're a pig. You're doing sin right now," and all that. Just like we all were raised as children.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about all, but...
Well, that's how you learned about it, right? Parents just chained you inside of a dog kennel and forced you to masturbate.
This is a conversation for another time. And now I'm worried.
All right, now I got to see if that bit worked before I cut it out. All right, but moving along. So after Kane takes care of Ty, then Kane goes ahead and comes back into the section where Kira is.
Mm-hmm.
But while this was all happening, Christine went to go free Kira, but Kane took the keys to the lock before leaving.
Yeah.
Meaning that they can't. So Christine goes to hide, setting down the pistol at that time, and Margaret comes in. Mm-hmm. And Margaret looks at Kira and says, "What the fuck is this?" And Kane comes back in. She starts admonishing him. Here's where we learn that Margaret has been this lady in these flashbacks. She is Kane's mom.
Yes. And this is the part we talked about earlier, to where he keeps her alive because of the tattoos, and it flashes back to previous girls who Kane has still tortured. I think plucked their eyes out, but
No, so
well, actually, no, you're right. The first one
His
was
mom
still
did.
alive. The mom plucked the eye out.
yeah, the mom was the one to pluck out the eye, and I imagine because she was like saying how he's the hand of God.
Yeah.
Like he is the one to deliver all these people from their sins and all this stuff, which just shows that Kane essentially, he's a murderer and he's a psychopath and all this, but it's because of how his mom raised him.
Yeah.
Which kind of adds like an element of sympathy towards the killer.
Yeah. So now we get the reveal that this was all a setup, and the only reason why they were there is because she was trying to lure Frank back to the hotel to get revenge on him for shooting her son.
Which
But
it seems like it would be so much easier just to find out where he lives and kill him there.
yeah, but then we wouldn't get the movie.
Yeah, true.
But unfortunately, that all these prisoners or all these juveniles were merely a bonus.
Yeah.
That they showed up. So, as you're saying, Margaret has the gun, and she attempts to shoot Kira. But now, of course, Kane, and this is the part where, we kind of see that I don't know if he's confused or know if he wants Kira to live, but ends up fighting his own mom off, even though she's like, "What are you doing? I thought I taught you well, and you're a pig," all this stuff. And I'll say this one was the most satisfying death for me, was she throws his mom headfirst onto a nail in the wall.
Yeah, like a giant ass spike. And that was one hell of a throw.
Yeah.
Like it was 6-7 feet up onto a wall.
And what was weird was, and then I caught this too, how he was actually telling his mom, and he says, "I see it."
Yeah.
Quotations.
He's like, "I see now." Because I'm reading too far into it, of course, because that's what I do. But what I was thinking is that this is fucking Loki. But this is Kane coming to realize that his mom is the biggest sinner because she has, put to death all these people without knowing the full background behind them, just immediately doing the judge, jury, executioner thing.
Yeah. And I don't think you're reading too far into it. I think I saw it too, to where he's like, "No, you're the one who is a monster, not me," and kills her.
I think he's saying that I'm a monster because you made me a monster.
Yeah.
Because after this, like, he didn't just give himself up or anything. He still continued on his rampage. It's just that, it was kind of with a more subdued passion.
Yeah. So, Christine finally goes to rescue Kira after the whole murdering of Kane's mom scene, to where we find Jacob, a.k.a. Kane, in some sort of trance now that he's killed his mom, I think, or whatever it may be. He's, like, rocking back and forth, and he's going through some weird thing because now Christine's literally in front of them, and he's not even paying any attention to her.
Yeah, like he's in shock.
Yeah. But, of course, once she goes to shoot him, we hear the click, and to where we see now the gun is out of ammo and breaks Kane out of his trance-like state.
Yep, and after he gets out of his trance-like state, he goes for a twofer, grabbing both of the girls by the throat, looking to choke both of them out. But he throws away Kira to focus on Christine. Once he does so, Michael, big surprise, still alive, comes back with Kane's axe that he's been carrying throughout this whole movie and chomps him in the leg. I think right in the knee.
Yeah. So Michael, ends up hitting him with the axe and bashes him in the back of the head, which, oh my God.
Yeah, he stabs him in the back
It was with a
his
pipe.
And the bullet wound, so that's what that was. He got shot through and through in the head with a fucking pistol in the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
He fucking stabs him in the head with a bullet wound. Maggots start coming out.
Yeah, I had that right in. The maggots just start coming out of the, oh my God.
So I don't know if this is supposed to be the explanation for why there's a sequel of this. Like maybe he's undead and he's just been dead this whole time or something. But that was a surprise.
Yeah. Or he's just dirty.
I guess, but it's been 4 years and this wound hasn't healed.
Yeah. So now the trio is eventually able to, the trio is eventually able to stab him through the eye with the pipe. and he ends up getting thrown out a window. Well, more like pushed out of a window with a chair. And finally, we get to the scene where his heart is impaled by a shard of glass. They do the whole, not cinematic, but the whole
What was
weird
the TV show that used to do it all the time? Deadliest Warrior?
Deadliest Warrior, yes.
Yeah, where they have like the internal
view.
Yeah, the internal X-ray view where it shows this either I thought it was a piece of rebar actually, but either rebar or glass going through his heart and puncturing it and stopping the heartbeat.
Yeah. To where I put apparently, because now we know there's number 2, but apparently killing him.
Yes, it does kill him in this. In the Wikipedia article, it says they kill him, and then they just pretend he's alive in the second one.
Which maybe we'll have to do a follow-up.
Maybe that one was rated higher.
But it was, yeah, that's the thing.
So we'll have to see. But basically after that, they go to all walk out of the hotel now that they have taken the keys out of Margaret's dress because she's dead on the wall. And as they're walking out, Kira says, "Michael, why'd you come back to us?" And he said, "I didn't want to walk out of here alone." Kind of his big character, move throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it. Just jumps right to a title card.
So, I guess I'll get into, if you want, I'll get into my whole spiel on the movie and if it was that bad. Definitely not a 9% or a 17% like Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. I actually rate the IMDb a 5 out of 10 for me. I mean, this one was actually a hard one for me to rate. I mean, I'm not the big, I called it like a slasher movie. I'm not the big horror / slasher expert or anything. I like a good, movie like this, but to me, other than, I guess, the ridiculous plot of, there was this undead dude with his religious mother in a hotel and he's killing these people type deal, but it was good. I think it was brutally rated. I mean, these people kind of, from first glance, you're thinking, okay, this is absolute dog shit, but it really wasn't.
Yeah, it's definitely not the dog shit that they have there.
Yeah.
I personally don't agree with your rating. I told you earlier. I would give this an 8 out of 10. Because for a couple of reasons. I listed out some pros and cons. So, one, it doesn't do that 30-minute long, entire first third of the movie focusing on the killer, getting into his backstory, why he became this. It just jumps straight into action, which I really enjoy. And then also, for just some pros, most of the kills were great. It wasn't entirely gore porn like Hostel would be, for instance, but it had enough to where you could tell there's some practical effects, some not practical effects, and they all worked really well together. And then when it comes to the set design, that was amazing. Like, this looked like a real abandoned-ass hotel, dirty everywhere. Like, they did really good set design. And then the performances, apart from one person, I think we're all spot on. Who would you say did the worst performance in the movie?
Actually, a good question.
Because for me, it's Margaret.
Margaret?
Yeah.
Really?
To me, she was just really stiff. Like, it didn't seem like she was into the character.
I mean, I thought she was very, I don't know if the word is one-sided or not shallow. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is, I mean, she was just introduced as the crazy mom or the super religious freak that created Kane. I didn't think there was much to it.
Yeah, I don't know, because the whole thing is that she was playing a part this whole time to lure Frank into this hotel to get her son to kill him.
Yeah, which she did.
Yeah, but you'd think like she would display a little bit more ingenuity throughout the entire movie, kind of leading up to that fact.
Kind of like,
hey,
what's going on? Or there's someone here.
Or maybe show her, like, luring some people to their deaths and stuff like that, like, alluding to it before the big reveal. That way we could go ahead and get it all out of the way. But I also like that Kane, they used him perfectly. I think he had one speaking line in the movie. So you really limit his speaking performance, because that's exactly what they do in WWE. He doesn't speak that much. His facials and his character work are the best parts, which is what they stuck to here. And then also the overall shock of Frank being like one of the first to die because you would think, oh, this is his redemption story. He's going to get, his arm, taken away. His prosthetic is going to get re-chopped off or something, and he's going to have a big battle with Kane, where he might ultimately come out the losing party, but still save all these kids. But nope, killed off within the first 30 minutes.
Now, that one was crazy. How I noticed that too is how, he comes to the reveal of, oh shit, this is the same guy, and then gets killed. I'm like, oh shit, so Kane ends up getting his revenge, but of course the kids end up escaping. But that was an interesting part.
Yeah, I thought that was a perfect swerve because it kind of takes away the predictability factor of what you think the movie's going to be.
And I thought that. I go, oh shit, now that we know Kane is the guy who was in the first scene, Frank's going to end up being one of the last guys in the movie, and there's going to be a big brawl. And so that part was excellent. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, that part was excellent. And then for cons, I didn't like Michael's changed man story because they just didn't show enough to lead up to him changing that fast. Because he went straight to some stoner trying to hook up with Zoe to a hero within 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. But what they should have shown is like him being an asshole in the beginning and then slowly over a period of time, like, forgiving Kira or, kind of taking charge of the situation. Something to kind of make that make sense.
Mm-hmm. Not just he's an asshole I'm going to save you guys.
Yeah. And then other con was Ty's death. It's just a huge weak spot. Should have came back at the end, even if it was one of those bullshit like horror movie endings where they go check on him and it turns out he's still alive and they like have to help him out of the hotel. That would have been fine. Mm-hmm. And then for last con, let me see. Oh yes, the editing. So I don't know if you noticed it. The editing was super jump cutty to where they would cut like every couple seconds, which is really common in movies nowadays, but just show a longer take because it makes it feel more real. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's for me. And all in all, I say this is a great movie. I won't hear anything otherwise unless it makes sense and I like it.
All right, I respect it.
Yep. But for me, this is a really good movie. As we always recommend, watch this movie yourself. Tell us what you like because for us, like even with us, we're 3 points off. Like you said, it's an enjoyable movie, but not perfect or very good.
Definitely not a 9%er. That's unbelievable.
That's super surprising.
Yeah. But like I said, good horror film. Good, like I said, not much gore. Still some gore, but not over the top.
Yeah, not over the top gore or anything like that.
Regardless, it was good.
Yeah, but overall, I would say that WWE Studios by itself, just horror seems to be the kind of winning genre for them. Because think about it, See No Evil, apparently See No Evil 2 is not that bad. And then Oculus. Do you remember Oculus? Oh, we got to watch Oculus. So Oculus is this movie about these siblings to where this mirror that their dad bought is a like possessed mirror that forces the people around them to start losing their minds and kill each other.
I remember when this came out. I never saw it. Yeah. Rated pretty good, though.
Yeah, it's rated pretty highly, and it's a good movie.
This is a WWE film? Who's starring in it?
So, no wrestlers.
Oh.
This is like one of the only ones where there's no wrestlers.
It's like an independent type thing? Like they sponsored it or paid for it?
Yeah, like they produced it. But essentially, there's like one wrestling reference in it, but it's an entirely separate movie. Because as you probably, like if you Google WWE Studios and see their list of movies, there's some stinkers in there. There's Marine 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, I believe.
And I assume John Cena
is not in any of them. John Cena was in the first Marine. Ted DiBiase Jr. is in the second Marine.
Fuck me.
But guess who was supposed to be in the second Marine but couldn't do it because the Marines bitched about it?
Randy Orton?
Yep.
Wow, that was a good guess, actually. Okay.
Because Randy Orton was in the Marines but went AWOL.
Really?
Yeah, he was originally in the Marines but went AWOL to become a wrestler because, the wars were starting to kick up and he didn't want to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave that in there. Like, my dogs are fucking crazy right now. But anyway,
Loki! All right, we got to finish strong here.
All right, we'll see. But essentially, all of these WWE Studios movies have three main things in common. They're written very shittily.
Shittily?
Yeah, very shittily. They lose a ton of money, and they go straight to video.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, probably one of the biggest, egregious, worst movies WWE Studios have ever made, Kindergarten Cop 2.
That was WWE?
Yeah, that was WWE. Once again, didn't have a wrestler in it or anything. But you know the original Kindergarten Cop where it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
Mm-hmm.
No relation whatsoever.
Really?
There's no relation to it at all. There's no reference to the original movie. What happens is a kindergartner becomes a cop.
You can stop right there.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. But that being said, there's still some good WWE movies. Like if you look through the list, they got 12 Rounds, The Marine, The Condemned, and a few others that are pretty good movies. It's just that their bad outweigh the good by quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, I didn't want to... I was looking that up, but I had to quickly get out of there. But anyways, yeah, so... WWE, huh?
Yeah, WWE, they have some good moments and they have some bad moments. And sometimes the bad heavily outweighs the good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with that, watch the movie for yourself. Give us some ideas in the comments for other movies we could watch. But definitely, I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a really short one and flowed pretty well.
Yeah. Like I was telling you, an hour and 30 wasn't that bad. As in,
It was
the
an
movie
easy
was
watch.
good, but definitely an easy watch. Yeah, nothing really dragged on with it. So, yeah, like we always want, just give us some suggestions. If I know there's tons of probably good movies that are rated poorly that I don't know about, so I would definitely like to hear some suggestions. So, yeah, with that,
Yeah. And hopefully by this one coming out, I'll have the new intro all set up. So hopefully that'll be all good. But definitely thank you guys so much for watching. Tune into Twitch. I'll link my Twitch down below. I stream Red Faction every now and again. And I'll also link my speedrun channel down below. But apart from that, thank you guys so much and have a good day.